Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakti. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining today. So let's welcome all of you saying 3 times Haribol. 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 There is also today, there is a last minute change. I would try to take the class today. So thank you so much. Let me share the screen. So everybody can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devi Saraswati Vyasam.
Tado Jayamudhiraye.
Tato Jayamudhiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigim.
Bhakti Namaste Namaste.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse number 56. Please repeat after me. Sarva Karmani Abhisada.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada.
Kurvano Madhyavasrayaha.
Kurvano Madhyavasrayasya.
Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi.
Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi.
Shashwadam Padam Avyayam.
Shashwatam Padam Avyayam.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada.
Sarva Kamani Apisada.
Kurvano Madhyava Asrayaha.
Kurvano Madhyavasrayasya.
Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi.
Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi.
Shashwadam Padam Avyayam.
Shashwatam Padam Avyayam.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada. Kurvano Madhyavasa Asrayaha. Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi. Shashwadam Padam Avyayam. Sarva Karmani Abhisada. Kurvano Madhyavasrayaha. Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi. Shashwadam Padam Avyayam. Please recite. Devotees.
Sarva karmani api sada.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada.
Kurvano madhyapashrayah.
Kurvano Madhyavasrayaha.
Mat prasadat avapnoti.
Mat Prasadat Avapnodhi.
Shashwatam padam avayam.
Shashwatam Padam Avyayam.
Karmani api sada.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada.
Kurvano madavyapaśrayah
Purvano madhyapasa.
mat prasadat avapnoti
Mat prasada
Matprasadavapnoti
tam padam avyayam.
Shashvatam
Shashvatam padam
Padamavyayam.
avyatam.
सर्व कर्माणि अपि सदा
Sarva Karmani Abhisada
कुर्वाण मत व्यपश्रयाः
Kurvano Madhyapasrayah
मत प्रसादत अभिन्नति
Mat prasada
Matprasadavapnoti
शाश्वतं पदम अभ्यायम
Shashvatam
Shashvatam
Padam.
padam.
Anybody else?
Sarva kamadi api sada.
Sarva Karmani Abhisada
Purvano madhyapasa.
Kurvano Madhyapasrayah
Mat prasada apnauti.
Matprasadavapnoti
Shashvatam padam avyayam.
Shashvatam Padamavyayam. Okay, so we'll go word by word meaning, synonyms. Sarva, all.
Sarva all.
Karmani, activities.
Karmani activities.
Abhi, although.
Api although.
Sada, always.
Sada always.
Kurvanaha, performing.
Purvanaha
performing.
Mad Vyabasrayaha, under my protection.
Mat prapyasya under my protection.
Mad Prasada, by my mercy.
Mat prasada by my mercy.
Avapnodi, one achieves.
Prapnoti one achieves.
Shashvatam, the eternal.
Shashvatam the eternal.
Padam, abode.
Padam above.
Avyayam, imperishable.
Avyayam imperishable.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation. Please repeat after me. Though engaged in all kinds of activities,
Those engaged in all kind of activities,
my pure devotee,
my pure devotee,
under my protection,
under my protection,
reaches the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace.
reach the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace.
Repeat. Though engaged in all kinds of activities,
Though engaged
Those engaged in all kind of activities,
my pure devotee,
my pure devotee,
under my protection,
under my
protection,
reaches the eternal
reaches the eternal
and imperishable abode by my grace.
and
and
imperishable
imperishable abode by my grace.
Yeah, super good. The word Mad Vyabasrayaha means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. To be free from material contamination, a pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He is always 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the directions of the Supreme Lord. To a devotee who is thus engaged in Krishna consciousness, the Lord is very, very kind. In spite of all difficulties, he eventually placed in the transcendental abode or Krishna Loka. He is guaranteed entrance there. There is no doubt about it. In that supreme abode, there is no change. Everything is eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Chupakada Mahyam Dadadi Supadantigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadhuidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Udadhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Krishna Karune Namo Vedanta Vedhyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsa Chanura Devagi Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Namaha Pangajanabhaya Namaha Pangajamaline Namaha Pangajanetraya Namaste Pangajangraye Sashanga Chakram Sagarida Kundalam Sabida Vastram Sarasiruheshanam Sahara Vakshastala Shobhi Gaustubasriyam Namami Vishnum Shirasa Chadurbhujam Shandakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kandam Kamalanayanam Lo Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhaupaiharam Sarvalokai Ganadam Om Namo Namo Aniruddhaya Rishikesh Indriyatmane Namaha Pangajana Namaha Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nivrittatmane Harirnama Harirnama Iva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva Gadiranyada Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmana Va Prakride Swabhava Karomi Yattal Sagalam Parasmai Narayana Yedi Samarpayami Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. This is so wonderful. So we understand this transcendental subject matter. We are so fortunate, as it's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita itself, by the mercy of the Lord, we have an opportunity to go through. So we should always glorify the Supreme Lord, chant His holy name. This way we can understand and we, are eligible to receive the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So here in this verse today, so yesterday we were going through that who can understand the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna? So there were so many yogis in different levels, in different degrees, in different capacities. So I'm not getting into that. We know that who all are they. So here the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is revealing to Arjuna who can actually understand as I am the Supreme Lord Krishna. So this is what is very, very important for all of us. So we know that there are so many different cult or different kinds of, we call it as religion, or different kinds of processes, or some systems, or some clans, or some kind of, different groups of people or schools of thoughts. So we can take another complete day that all are they. There is Pancha Pujas, and there is Brahmavadis, there are Mayavadis, there are Shunyavadis, so many varieties. So, but only those who are completely received the mercy of the Lord by devotional service can understand who is that Supreme Personality of God. That's why, sometimes people ask, okay, I go this religion, I go this way of worship. Why I'm not understanding? So this is my Lord, this is my Lord, this is your Lord, this is my Lord. These different ideologies are there because of they have not enough, entered into the devotional services of the Lord. So definitely, one who engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord, Krishna would reveal to such devotees that they can understand that the Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what is yesterday's class, and Krishna is clearly mentioning that only by devotional service one can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full conscious of me, such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So then we also understood that who will come to that stage of devotion? Mad bhakti labhade param. Brahma bhuda prasannatma na shojati na kamshati samaha sarva bhuteshu mad bhakti labhade param. One who is free from the void of all this lamentation and material disease, and always sarva bhutas, means samaha sarva bhuteshu, seeing Krishna in everything. And in the 12th chapter, Krishna says that one who sees me in everything, I never lost to him, neither I never, and he never lost to me. That means he's always in Krishna consciousness. So this is called Krishna consciousness, that we can see Krishna in everything, and we have to see because of there are only two things, Krishna and Krishna's, right? There is nothing else. Everything is Krishna's creations, Krishna's manifestations, Krishna's expansions and expansions of the expansions, the portions. There is various forms of the Lord. So we can see that. So we have to understand that in all respect, that everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is manifestations of the Krishna. That's very difficult to understand because of Krishna's potency is innumerable. So, yeah. Krishna's potency is innumerable, and Krishna's incarnations are innumerable. It says that we can even count the sands on the banks of the ocean, on the shore of the ocean, but we cannot even count that the incarnations of the Lord. Then think about that, how many, innumerable, and we cannot even perceive. There are thousands of qualities of the Lord. So one can understand all this when one who engages in the loving devotional service only. So that's where it is coming to this verse. Krishna is revealing that though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee. So this section is called as Bhakti Yoga, and also finally Krishna reveals what is the pure devotion. So in this next few verses, Krishna is revealing that what is pure devotion. Dear devotees, that's the most important to understand in our life. Yes, we may understand so many other aspects of, we may understand Brahman, we may understand yogic processes, we may understand the various other kinds of knowledge, right? We may completely by heart the entire Bhagavad Gita. But if you don't understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, then what is the use of it? Yes, there is a use, of course. It's eventually purifies. Even taking the name of Krishna is very beneficial and purifying. But the ultimate, the perfection, the stage of perfection, Krishna is revealing here the stage of perfection of one's existence. That is the purpose of our human form of life, dear devotees. Come to that stage of perfection. So what is that stage of perfection? The stage of perfection is engaging in pure, loving, devotional service. And it is mentioned that in Srimad Bhagavatam, as Srimad Prahlad Maharaj was saying that, Save pumsha paro dharma yador bhakti radokshaje ahe tugi apradihada yedatma suprasidaha. Save pumsha paro dharma yador bhakti radokshaje. And the ultimate dharma, the ultimate duty of a person is to engaging in the loving devotional service unto that Supreme who is known as Adokshaja. Why he is known as Adokshaja? Because Adha Akshaja, that means only with our internal eyes that can be seen. So what is that internal eyes? That means one who enters into the spiritual plane, naturally this internal eyes is opened. So when he engages into the loving devotional service, naturally his internal eyes are open. So then we can see Krishna in, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One time when Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was taking a Bhagavad class, so few of the devotees, disciples were sitting there, and there are, sitting there, they were listening very attentively. Then all on a sudden, then it was in a temple, and all on a sudden the altar is open. So few devotees got up and they went and took the darshan, and they went there, they closed their eyes and they, prayed to the Lord. And then after a few minutes of their, went directly to the Lord and came back and sat there. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj asked, "Where did you go?" And you went there and you closed your eyes and you opened your eyes and you, did something like that, and you came back. But here I was giving this the technique and the science and the method that one can see the Lord. So dear devotees, this is very important, that unless and until we come to that stage of how to engage in the loving devotional service of the Supreme Lord, then we are on into the material platform, not we are on in the spiritual platform. So by the gradual process, and that's what is very important, that as Srila Prabhupada says that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport that the one who follows a pure devotee acts under the directions of the Supreme Lord or his representative or the spiritual master. So only by when he follows, because of they have seen the truth. In the 4th chapter, 34th verse, it is revealed that Tadviti Pranipadena Pariprashnena Seveya Ubadeshandye Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. This is the 4th chapter, 34th verse. One would approach a spiritual master, one who approach a representative of the Lord or a devotee of the Lord. Tadviti Pranipadena Pariprashnena Seveya, then they should render the service to that pure devotee or a spiritual master, and Upadeshandye Jnanam, then and to receive the directions and instructions and from that spiritual master and serve. Then only that spiritual master reveal that transcendental science to such devotees, because Upadeshandye Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha, they have seen the truth. They only could see the truth because of they engaged in the loving devotion. So we should always follow the footsteps of the pure devotees of the Lord. So this is mentioned that in the nectar of instruction, and it is mentioned that, and nectar of devotion, it is mentioned that. So we all heard about this pure loving devotional service. When they practice, we call it a sadhana bhakti. So when we come to the stage of sadhana bhakti, that means sadhana bhakti means we spontaneously, we by rules and regulations, or by the instructions of a devotee, or by the instructions of a spiritual master, we engage in the devotional service. So when we engage in the loving devotional service, which is maybe like chanting of the holy name, maybe devotee says, or maybe spiritual master says, then go and chant 16 rounds, or go and do the book distribution on the street, or go and do cooking in the temple, or clean the temple, or clean the, or make garland services. These are all under the sadhana bhakti, which comes under the sadhana bhakti. That means under the rules and regulations, or under the instructions of a devotee, or under the instructions of a spiritual master. So by gradually doing this, what happens? One can purify. So one can purify by engaging in the devotional service under the guidance of a devotee. That's called sadhana, or sadhana means practice, right? Practice. So we practice the devotion first. So like that, when you want to ride a bicycle, so you don't know anything about bicycle, you don't know how to ride the pedal, you know how to apply the brakes, or how to apply the push the pedal. We don't know anything about. So what we do, we approach who already have the knowledge of how to ride a bicycle. So that person will take you, and then with the help of that person, he'll take you to the first on the pedal, and this is pedal, this is wheel, this is brake, this is light, and when you apply this one, and this will stop. All these knowledges we get. So then under the direction of that person who is, the master of that, who is, now know the bicycle riding, he will tell that, okay, and the right time, when the time comes, okay, now you get up. Now you slowly, and I will hold you. So you just apply the pedal and you sit there, and without any fear, you look straight and you hold the handle straight and you do. So then this instructor will hold the bicycle. Then what happens? This person is trying to learn that how to ride the bicycle. Then slowly, he loses fear. And then even if there is a fearful situation that, okay, then the instructor will hold that person. So he's free. Now, after some practices, maybe 3-4, maybe a week of practices, now he has comfortable and confidence that he can ride bicycle alone. So we all went through that, dear devotee. So anything like that in the spiritual realm, that we have to practice, we have to cultivate this practice under the directions of those who are already developed this Krishna consciousness. So that's called, it's very, very important. So that is called sadhana bhakti. Then there is also called the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. That means under the vidhi, under the instructions and rules and regulations, we have to perform this. Not that whimsically. So when we do the whimsically, like just for an example, we all know that, we must have went through for driving classes. This is my example. Actually, first, when I went for driving classes, I usually used to use two of my legs for applying that's where in India, you use the left hand leg for the accelerator and the right leg for the brake. So here also, when I started to use both the left and the right for both the purposes like that. So then, applying the accelerator, I used the left leg, and for the apply the brake, I used the right leg. So instructor first told me, you cannot use your left leg for driving the car. You have to always use your right leg only, because of the moment you take your right leg foot off from the the brake, or right off from the accelerator, then you are ready to apply for the brake, and like that. So this is what is the case for all of us. So many times we don't know, so we make mistakes in so many conditions, and so we should definitely follow that one who is already understood and seen the truth. So then we can easily practice that. That's called vidhi or sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana. Then we come to that stage of the spontaneous. Then now we develop some attachment, and that's called raganuga bhakti. So we develop some love for that, our practices, and we develop the love. That's called the bhakti. So we develop sadhana bhakti, and then we come to the stage of raganuga bhakti, or there is an attachment. The raga means attachment, anuga, raga, anuga. We follow that attachment, and then we develop more and more bhakti. And then also in the Nectar of Devotion, Sri Rupa Goswami says that there is also another level of bhakti is called ragatmika bhakti. So ragatmika bhakti means we have to follow the footsteps of a pure devotee. So even though when we have developed this love for the Supreme, at the same time, we have to also follow the footsteps of a pure devotee of the Lord. So that means that, so we are all known as Rupanugas because we are the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. So naturally, we are also Ragatmika Bhaktas of Srila Rupa Goswami because we are following the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. And Srila Prabhupada gave all this to us to follow the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami. That's why we follow the Nectar of Instructions and the Nectar of Devotions. So after this, when we conclude this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we are going to start the Nectar of Devotion first, and then after that, we will also continue the Nectar of Instruction. So this gives us an understanding how one can enter into the pure devotional platform. So here Krishna is giving that how one should get into that pure devotee. So Krishna is saying that even though the pure devotee is engaging in all these kinds of activities, so there are, the devotee may do so many things, right? So many other activities. He may go to work, and he may, engage into the family activities. He may, do yard work, and he may do everything. But what happens here, even though he engaged in all kinds of activities, then he, the pure devotee, one who enters into the pure devotional platform, will never deviate from his path because of Krishna. They are under the protection of Krishna. So there is a verse in the 9th chapter, 34th verse. Krishna reveals that Ananya Chindayando Mam Yejana Mam Pariyupasade Tesha Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshema Vahamyaham. That means in any conditions of the life, one who has unalloyed devotion to me, like, there is unconditional, uninterrupted, and unmotivated, and unalloyed devotion. Uninterrupted means there is continuous, no interruptions in his devotion. So even though he is engaging in the different kinds of activities, there is uninterrupted, there is no interruption in his Krishna consciousness or his bhakti. Or there is no condition, unconditional. When he engages in so many other activities, when his Krishna consciousness is always non-conditional or unconditional. There is no condition that, okay, I would do it later, I would do this way, if I get this one, I will do. No, this is not that pure devotional platform. So then Krishna says that the unmotivated is not that as per the somebody's, okay, because of some thrush comes, some push comes, okay, somebody say, oh, my Guru Maharaj comes today, as I have to do this. This is called motivational. So, okay, or somebody said something, okay, I'm going to do this. So this is called motivated. So the devotional service is unmotivated. That's called Ananya Chindayandoma. When one who is completely Ananya, without a second, Ananya means without separating from the Lord, always. Ananya Chindayandoma, one who is completely engaged, constantly and full conscious of me, Ananya Chindayando Mame Janapa Mam Pari Upasade. That means there are various devotional services that, as it's mentioned, that Srila Prahlad Maharaj mentioned that Sravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana Pada Sevana Marchanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. If those services, one who is always either chanting, when you get up in the morning, we chant the holy name, and then Sravana Kirtanam, then we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. After that, Sravana Kirtanam, and chant the holy name, and Shravanam, the evening time, we hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. We hear the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Meantime, also we hear, and whenever we get the time, we chant the holy name, Sravana Kirtanam. And also at the same time, Smarana also happens. So we remember when you see, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he sees anything black cloud, he sees that, oh, my Krishna is there. A water of Yamuna, he jumps into the water because he says that Krishna is there. Jump into the ocean, because he sees that, Krishna is there. If there is a black rock, he goes there and embraces. We see that, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embracing a stone. So like that. So the pure devotee see Krishna in everything, and first of all, and he also try to remember that Krishna, when we sees the beautiful, oh, this is, Krishna's mercy, this is Krishna's. So he immediately remembers that. And when he see a flower in his garden, he immediately thinks that, okay, I will pluck this flower and I will offer to Krishna. I will not do anything other than that. I will not even smell first unless I offer to Krishna. Anything I get something, okay, I will offer to Krishna. So this way, then the devotee goes to work. So the moment he start to work, what happens? He just say, pray to the Lord, oh Lord, this work I am offering to you. And I, samarpanam, I am offering to you. This is your mercy. I'm offering to you so that I can perform my work, but I am not looking for the results. What results will come out? But I am here to work 100% for your pleasure. So this is the attitude of a devotee. Then he actually opened his lunch. For the lunch, he prayed to the Lord that, oh Lord, that please, I'm very grateful for you for this lunch and this prasadam. This is nothing but a prasadam. I was mentioning on the other day, at least that we should have, before we open the lunch, we should pray to the Lord. And those who are Brahmanas, they should chant their Gayatri 3 times a day, wash their mouth or hands their water and meditate upon the Lord. And whenever you have some, some places, some in the office or somewhere, just take some time to meditate upon the Lord. Then you work again and you come back. And meantime, when you get some time, you hear the glories of Krishna or some bhajans or some, read the Bhagavad or other spiritual books. So this way, one can completely engage in the service of the Lord. So this is called Ananya Chindayandoma. Ejana Mam Pariyupasade. That means one can, yet devote himself in all the time, 24 hours a day. That's Srila Prabhupada mentioned that one can engage always. Sadadam kirtayendo mam yadandascha dridavruddha. In the 9th chapter, Krishna is revealing that in the 14th verse of 9th chapter. What is that? Sadadam kirtayendo mam yadandascha dridavruddha. Yadandascha dridavruddha. Namasyasnami mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasade namastasmya. He always engage in the devotional service. Namastasmya. We offer his obeisances unto me. How? Drida nischaya, drida vrada. Yadandascha drida vrada. That means with the full determination. Yesterday we mentioned about how we can have the determination. One should have the determination in the process of bhakti. Yadandascha drida vrada. Namastasya mam bhaktya. That's called the bhakti. That's called the bhakti. That's called devotee. So he always, sadadam kirtendo ma, in one way or other. Srila Prabhupada one time, devotees came and that was, the devotees wanted to go for book distribution. And then devotee came and requested Srila Prabhupada, I'm not going today, I have to finish my chanting. So Srila Prabhupada said, yes, book distribution is also chanting because of you are engaging in the service of the Lord, you are talking about the Lord, you are preaching of the Lord, and you are remembering the Lord. This is also devotional service. So when the devotees direct in different ways like this devotees, we should take it. This is the opportunity because of, it's mentioned that the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmanda Brahmide Kona Bhagyavan Chief, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhaya Bhakti Lada Beach. And it says that Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kai, Levamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. And even a little bit of association of a pure devotee, one can attain this Sarva Siddhi. That's bhakti, the love for the Supreme Lord. Guru Krishna Kripa Paya Bhakti Lada Bij. By the Guru and Krishna, one get this seed of bhakti. So this is the only way that we can develop this pure devotion. So here it is, he says that, Namastesmya mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasade. He always, engage in the loving devotional service. So he does not waste even a single moment without in the service of the Lord. So even though we are in the family caricature or family structure, so we can engage ourselves in the full of Krishna consciousness. So, as it's mentioned that we all work, we go to work. So everything can be utilized for the service of the Lord. As it's mentioned that Sri Rupa Goswami, it says that anasakti savishaya. So what we should do in order to come to that stage of pure devotion like this, anasakti savishaya. We should free from the asakti. The asakti means the attachment to the vishaya. Vishaya means this worldly material things. So we should have anasakti. That means we should have detachment from all these worldly, material, tempering, flickering happiness. The devotees, the 99.9% of the people are just simply wasting their just for flickering happiness, like for an examples of the Alexander, right? We all know that Alexander the Great. Some people say that Alexander the idiot because of, it's not great because of, when Alexander was just 17 years old, he left the Alexandria, the Athens, and then he was started to conquer and one country after another country, and all the time he was in the battlefield. So he was 17 years, he didn't even come back to Athens. He was completely engaged in the warfare and killing thousands of millions of people and conquering the world one after another. So this material world gave him a big name, that Alexander the Great. So who is great? Or here great personalities. Bhagavad Gita explains that who is great. Mahatmana. That is called Mahatma. That is the great personalities. Mahatmanamstu mam bhartam devim pragatima. One who is under the divine nature, he is called Mahatma. Otherwise, he is Duratma. He is not a great person. He is a Duratma. So like that, the Alexander the Great, even though then 17 years he's on the battlefield, he came back to Athens, and then immediately after he contracted with such a incurable diseases. So within 2 years, he was under the bedridden and the sickness for 2 years, and all the doctors, and he brought all these different doctors from the different other countries, and the well-famous doctor on that time, they all came and they all applied all these kinds of medications and the processes and all those things. But finally, in 2 years, he died. So all his life that he spent for all this, and he couldn't even understand, and he couldn't even live for a minute for himself. And but all he did was actually he was going and conquering and killing and other people. So then what happened? Finally, so he died, and before he was passing away, he told to the ministers that when you make a coffin and you make two holes on the sides of this coffin, so that I can extend my hands, and so that everybody will see that even though I have conquered this entire world, when I go from this country, I have my empty hand. I cannot even take even that little piece of clothes on my body. So then, he also mentioned that all the doctors, all these Bishagaras, they should walk in front so that everybody will see that even though the technology, even though everything is there, nobody can save my life. So this is a great lesson for everybody. So he was instructing like that. So he was repenting that, I wasted my life. So this is what is happening, dear devotees, that what we are developing, that all this material consciousness, at the time of death, nothing can save you. Shankaracharya says that, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamade, Samprapte Sannihide Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshadi Dukrim Karane. At the time of death, nothing will save you. Nothing will save you. And as Shankaracharya says that, Balastavad Krida Sakta, Tarunistavad Taruni Sakta, Vidrastavad Chinda Sakta, Parabrahma Kopina Koina Sakta. And as we are as a childhood, we waste all our life like that. So much of child and Krida Sakta, and the playing and so many things, not conscious of the Supreme Lord. When it is Taruni Tavad Taruni Saksa, that means when it's the youth looking for the opposite of that, the boy looks for the girl looks for the youth, and to come to the family life, always attached to so much each other, and there is always, looking for this happiness each other and engage in so many things, and but still not realize that the value and the purpose of the life. And when the person come to that old age and he thinks that, okay, now let me think in the sense, Vruddhastava, the Chindasaksa, now the children. Now the children are so much of in anxiety. So like there was a story like this. There was a man who was approached, Nardadev approached this man. And this Nardadev said that, oh man, you know that the value of the life, please chant the holy name, so that you will be relieved and you engage in the devotion, so you'll be relieved from the clutches of this material miseries and the cycle of birth and death. You can attain your eternal spiritual nature. So this man said, okay, now I just got married. And Nardadev, please let me spend some time with my wife, so that I would, then I would understand that this whole and that, so that it won't be injustice to my wife and things like that. So let me go with as per the directions of my wife and the will of my wife. So then, days passed. Then Nardadev came back again to this person. Nardadev said, don't waste your life. Don't waste your lives that, now. So this person said to Nardadev that, look at that, my baby just born. How can I then put myself aside and things like that? And I should have some focus on them. And probably Nardadev, you come back after some time. So then Nardadev went back. And then after that, after some time, Nardadev came back, and that time said, this man said, Nardadev said to this person, now take this time, your time is running out. And don't waste your time, and take this holy name, and at least some extent you engage in the loving divorce service of the Lord. Nardadev, this person told to Nardadev, oh Nardadev, I don't have much time left anymore. See that, look at that, I have to make him ready for the school. My child is little grown up. He's running around and he's so much naughty, and my doesn't have the time. I have to go for work and that. I don't have time now. So please come back, and I will take up this, and please come back after some time. So then sometime, splashed, and then he came back, and when this son is grown up in the college, they said, look at that, Nardadev, my son is in the college, and there are so many things I have to do. I have to take care of so many things, and you come back after some time. So Nardadev again came back. And then what happened? When Nardadev came back again, now he said, look at that, my son just got married. And now he's getting to the marriage, and how can I leave now? How can I I have so many things to do now. So Nardadev came back, and they said that, why now you are retired, now your obligations are over. Why don't you take up at least this old age now to take up the holiday? And this person said, look at that, my grandson, he's just born, and now, he is now started to get up and walk, and he speaks broken words, he start to speak, all those things. And then what happens, then Nardev again went back and came back. This is the time, and he was about to die. And he said he died almost. And then this person, they saw that this person is becoming a dog or a rat in the same house, because of he had so much of attachment to his entire thing, all this material and entire things, and he completely, he became a rat and a dog in his entire, the family there itself. And because of his attachment like this. So like that, a person, when he is old, he has so much of anxiety and chinda, in almost thoughtfulness of all his what he accumulated and all this, and he does not even have a proper mind to think about Krishna. And Parabrahma Kopina Koina Sakta likes that. So then what happens? He completely devoid, and then he can become another. As what he says that in the Bhagavad Gita, Andakala Yamyam Vavismaran Bhavam Tejjande Kalevaram Tamtam Evadi Kaundeya Yadi Natri Asamsheha. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that Yamyam Vavismaran, whatever the consciousness we have, Yamyam Vavismaran Bhavam Tejjande Kalevaram. That means the time of death, whatever the consciousness we have, that's what is we are going to become like this. So dear devotees, even that the human form of life to understand all this. So one has Ananyas Chindayando Mam Ejana Mam Paribhasade. One has to engage in the loving devotional service like this. They're understanding this human form of life is just like a flash of second. It's like Buddha. It is mentioned that the bubbles in the water, it can break any time. So then our life is gone, then our opportunities are gone, but we completely waste that. That's why it says that we completely waste our life. And if one who engages in the loving devotional service, Ananyas Chindayando Mam Ejana Paribhasade, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogatshema Mahamyaham. Krishna says that I would carry what they have and I would provide what they lack. Yogatshema Mahamyaham. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam. Always Nityabhiyuktanam Yogatshema Mahamyaham. As Krishna says that Namastyasmya Bhaktya Nityayukta Vasade. He always worship me. He always without. So that's why Srila Prabhupada mentioned this purport. He always worship the Krishna. So that's why Krishna is revealing here, my pure devotees. So under my protection, Yogatshema Mahamyaham, I would carry them what they have and I would provide them what they lack. So dear devotees, when one who comes into the stage of pure loving devotion, there is nothing to worry. As I mentioned always that we know that when we churn the yogurt milk or the yogurt, so then what happens? It becomes a butter. And the moment it's become a butter, even though it is in the water doesn't touch the butter. So similarly, like that, the moment we come to the spiritual platform, engaging in the loving devotional service of the Supreme Lord, then the material energy doesn't affect. So he is in the spiritual energy, he's in the spiritual platform, or it's called Bhagavad Lokan. He enters into that spiritual plane. That's why Krishna says that my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace. So such devotees will have the grace of the Lord. So dear devotees, we are going through this chapter called Perfection of Renunciation. So now we are understanding what is the purpose of renunciation, what is the benefit one who, properly situate in Yukta Vairagya or properly utilize everything for the service of the Lord, everything that is for the service of the Lord. Even though we have wealth or the family or the children, we engage everybody in the service of the Lord. This way, what happens? We are under the protection of the Lord. As Krishna says that, Mahatmanam stu mam partam devim prakriti masrudaka bhajandi ananya manaso nyatvam bhudadim avyayam, in the 13th verse of 9th chapter. As Krishna, Mahatmanam stu mam partam devim prakriti masrudaka. Krishna is, reconfirming all this. The great devotees under my protection, as Krishna reveals here, the pure devotees are under my protection. And it's many times Krishna is revealing. Next words also Krishna says that, and pure devotees are under my protection. So dear devotees, when we are under the protection of Krishna, what is there to fear in this world? What is there to worry in this world? What is there to so much anxious of in this world when Krishna takes care of everything? And there was Srila Prabhupada was giving a story like this. Krishna is known as Dinabandhu. There was a poor lady who was living very near in a village place. She was very poor, and her husband passed away. Only a one son. She was very struggling to, to raise this child and to make all this, needs of his meets the, the needs of the family. She goes to the different houses and she gets something she bring back. But this little son goes to the school. One day, the school is planned for a big program. Like, okay, the teacher said, today is a very special day. Everybody bring something from your home so that we can celebrate this, school annual year or something like that. So this little child came back to his mother and said that this is what his teacher said, and I have to also bring something to the home, something to the school. So mother said, "Oh, look, child, we don't have anything." And this child was, insisting, mother, no, 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 I have to get something, otherwise teacher will scold me and things. So immediately mother remembered that, realized that, yes, my Lord Krishna, he is known as Dinabandhu. So this mother told to this little child, okay, so there is one person called Dinabandhu. If you call him, he can help you. His name is Dinabandhu. So mother said, then child was a little insisting that, okay, where this Dinabandhu is here. So now mother is in trap. So mother said, okay, he may be there in the forest there. You just go and look. So somehow mother wanted to just, send child away so that he can change his attention. So child went into the forest and in the woods and started to call, Dinabandhu, oh Dinabandhu. Is anybody here called Dinabandhu? This little child with a sincere effort, Dinabandhu. A little boy came there. And he came to this little boy, a beautiful boy. Little boy came to this little child. So what do you need? I am Dinabandhu. What do you need? So this little child mentioned that. This is what it is. School is mentioned that. Okay, no worries. Okay, you promised that to the teacher that I will bring the yogurt. So this little child was very happy and he went back and then told everything to the mother. Mother didn't think any of those. Mother said, he might have something like that. So the day came, and then this little child again went back at the same place where he met this, the beautiful boy there. And he called, Dinabandhu, Dinabandhu. So Dinabandhu came there and then handed over this pot of, the yogurt. So this little child was so happy. And then he brought this yogurt to the school and teacher was happy. And it's even a little pot, not too much. So then the teacher started to serve this yogurt to everyone. And he thought that, okay, this will be, can feed for few people. So, but the moment teacher started to feed and take out this yogurt from this pot, then what happens? It was unending. And the entire people, the entire village was there coming. And then teacher asked this, this child, what happened? Where did you get all this? So he said to the teacher, that is, I had a Dinabandhu, my mother told, Dinabandhu came. Then even, the mother came to the school, everybody came to the school, and it became so flash news of that, this mercy of Krishna. Dear devotees, so Krishna will protect, no matter what. When Krishna says that, he will protect, he will protect. So there is nothing to worry, like Srila Prabhupada says that. When we are a child, when we are a small child, suppose we are going to cross the road, the moment we have the father hold of our hand, even when we cross the road, we don't need to worry anything about whether a car coming from that side or this side or left side or right side or from the top, because of we are having the hold of our father or mother, because of they know that the child has completely under the protection of their parent. So they think that, yes, I don't need to worry about. So then if there is some worry, that the father will take care of it. So dear devotees, this is what is Krishna. So many examples out there. How many examples at the time of when the need, Krishna is there. In the time of then, Draupadi, Krishna was there. When the time of Draupadi in the forest for the Akshaya Patra, when Durvasa came, Krishna was there. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was there. Even though they go through certain difficulties, but Krishna is there. For the devotees, Krishna is right there. Krishna is right there. There are so many examples out there. Krishna is right there. So, under the protection means that Krishna will always carry what they have and always provide what they lack. That means if somebody has this devotion, that's why Krishna told to Arjuna that, "Oh Arjuna, declare it boldly that my devotees never perish." That means even though we started the devotional service little bit, Krishna will protect that and never this perish, so that this way we can develop that devotional service. Then we can completely under the protection of the Lord, and then we can enter into the abode of the kingdom of the Lord. And we can say, describe that in a very, very beautiful way. But so in this verse itself, that how one can reach to that pure devotional platform, only by the loving devotional service one can become the pure devotee. And when one becomes the pure devotee, he is completely under the Devi Prakriti or the divine nature, and he will be completely under the protection of the Lord, and there is nothing to worry, no anxiety, like a child with their parents. And then finally the parent, the father will always carry this little child or his devotee always. That's why Krishna is always seated in his devotee's heart. Naham tishtandi Vaikunda. Krishna says, "I am so not seated in the Vaikunda." Where? Telling to Narada, "I am seated in the hearts of the devotee because he likes it." So that's why pure devotional service attracts even Krishna. So dear devotees, our life is meant for this, to come to this pure devotional platform by all these wonderful processes. And we can take another day of the class, what is pure devotional service and how we can take up this pure devotional service, that we can take in the another class. So thank you so much for, let me stop here. And thank you so much for being there. And it's so nice that we are all together here and hearing these wonderful glories of the Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. Any questions or any comments, any reflections, anything you would like to add, any realizations? Please go ahead. Let's have some discussions. Was it clear? Okay. Or Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Somebody speaking?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. All glories to
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, very clear. Wonderful example you cited out. You really explained us very well the fact that our devotion service is important, and what is devotional service, and what is seeing Krishna and realizing Krishna. The example you cited out, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, and where you mentioned that he was giving lecture and devotees were getting up and taking darshan, which is good. But then he very frankly cited out what should be the technique, the so-called the sadhana bhakti, like you said, the devotion service. What is the importance, and how that helps you to get closer and realize and get the love of Lord Krishna. So definitely very important devotional service.
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
exactly. So that's why we are all sadhana bhaktas, and it's very important that don't neglect the instructions of the devotees, and because of that's the mercy of the devotees. So if we are, planning to make progress and determined, that's why Dhrida Nishchaya, Dhrida Vrata, we should have the firm determination in the path of bhakti. So when we have this firm determination and follows the instructions of the devotees and the spiritual master, then only we can make the progress, because of this not an instruction, it's a mercy that which flowing to us. Mercy is coming to us. So only through that we can develop more and more and situate and come to this pure devotional platform. And we should strictly follow the instructions of the devotees and the spiritual master and the guru. Strictly follow, no exceptions for that. And that's why, this Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the spiritual master and the devotees are the representatives of the Lord. By Guru Krishna Prasadepai, by the mercy of the Lord, that Lord is arranging that some opportunities are to meet with a devotee or a spiritual master. It's all the mercy of the Lord. Nothing is that our quality or capacity, because of we don't have any capacity. We don't have any potency to overcome any of those. Only by the mercy of the Lord that we can overcome this material ocean. Otherwise, what happens? We are completely in this material ocean. So yes, it's very important that we follow the science and the techniques of how we can see the Lord, how we can develop this pure bhakti to the Supreme Lord. So when one who comes and reaches to that pure devotional platform or the bhakti, pure devotion, then he is under the protection of the Lord. He can see the Lord, and he's completely in the spiritual plane. As I mentioned that, like how the butter comes from the yogurt, even if it is comes from the water, then now at the, when it's butter, it cannot even touch, the water cannot even touch that butter. So that's our churning process. So that we have to go through this churning process of ourselves, that purifying our heart with all these various devotional aspects and devotional services. And then what happens? We come to that stage, and there, as it says that Mahatma, then we become the great devotees of the Lord, great souls, and always under the protection of the Lord. So it's very, very important. So then in that stage, then one cannot then go back to any of those things. So it's very difficult to overcome, but only by the Krishna, one who taken the shelter of Krishna, they can come to that stage. As Krishna says that, Devi Yasha Gunamaya Mamaya Durataya, Mameve Pravadande Maya Mevandara. Only one who taken the shelter of Krishna can overcome this. Otherwise, it's not. So yes, thank you so much for reflecting that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Jagadish Prabhu ki jai.
A very nice class, Simhesvara Prabhuji, as usual. Like you give the example, driving car, and you know how the person who was sitting you next to you, correcting you.
Yeah.
So this shows like the symptoms. If we are serious in the bhakti, doing under somebody, the guidance, then only correction possible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we do our own way. We don't want, anybody's suggestion. Then Maharaj says that this is called Margat Vairagya. Like you do what you like. You don't know what's going to be happen.
Exactly.
So this is the way we should do. The even day-to-day our devotional service, we should have somebody supervised or somebody to asking that I'm doing is it correct or not.
Yeah.
And then only possible we can make a progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, there is no way. Like you give the very nice example. You are driving. If you don't ask, or the person was not correcting, maybe you can make an accident.
Yeah.
And the damage himself and others also. Same in bhakti. To damage ourselves and damage others, the surrounding Vaishnavas or anybody else.
So yes, wonderful realization. Exactly, that's the point. So as Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in the purport as well, that we should definitely follow the instructions of the devotees and the spiritual master. Otherwise, we don't know where we are going to end up. Sometimes we feel that, okay, I've been there for 10 years, 15 years in Krishna consciousness, but I'm not making progress. Why? Because we are not really following the instructions of the Guru and the devotees. So we are not following. Otherwise, we can still, I can say so many things. But if you are not purified, if you are not transformed our heart, and if we are still have the attachment to this material world, if you are still attachment to this so many, material activities, we don't have, love for the Lord, we don't have attachment for chanting the holy name, if you don't have attachment to associate with the devotees, you have so much of, you caught up in so much of material things. And sometimes we ask people, okay, please come and chant. No, I don't have time for any of those things. And even devotees, so many devotees are there. How many comes for, if there is a service, how many of the devotees come for the service? And even there is a class and we send it to at least 300 400 kind of people. How many people attend for these classes or, chanting of any kind of association or activities? So only those who are serious, Dhrida Nishchaya, Dhrida Vrata, can progress in this path because of, as always, remember that the instructions of the Lord, a spiritual master, and the devotees No difference. The devotee's instruction same as the, sometimes people ask, how do I know that this is the right instructions? So dear devotees, that's why we should always have the approach to a pure devotee of the Lord, because of they have seen the truth. So pure devotees are instruction as equal as same of the instructions of the Lord. Devotees' instructions are same as equal as the instructions from the Lord. So Lord sends his representative so that everybody can purify and come to this platform. So it's it's very, very, very powerful, very wonderful. Yes, thank you for the reflection of that. Otherwise, what happens? We can. Srila Prabhupada says that the devotional service is like the walking on an edge of a razor blade. So it can bleed if you are not careful. So it says that we are. How do we feel that if you walk on an edge of a razor blade? It can definitely, it can, cause, injuries, can bleed. So, but if you are careful and with the help of the devotees, then it's safe. So similarly, that we should be very careful in the path of devotion, that the main thing is that we should not offend the devotees. So many times when what happens, when we progress a little bit, first thing is coming, this one is actually the ego of, the subtle, not that grows, but subtle ego will be there. I'm so and so, I have this position, everybody should follow me, everybody should follow my this. Not having, initially they may have some humility. What happens later is all gone now. Now is actually, now sthana, puja, pradishta. If I don't get this one, I will not do this service. If I don't do this one, I will not do this service. Then we started to discriminate. Oh, this devotee doing less service, I'm doing. So I'm so great. I can say anything I want. So many anarthas. Why? Because we are not following properly the instructions of sadhu, shastra, and guru and devotees. It's very important. So it's so subtle. I mean, we don't know how we are actually goes and how the Maya's energies devours us. Even though we are practicing all these, we may not even 10% in Krishna consciousness, 90% we are in this material consciousness. 90%. So it's very important that we follow and strictly follow and have this steady determination to progress in the path of devotion by, pure devotion, that, as it's mentioned that Shravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana Pada Sevana Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam, and always have this in our heart and follow the instructions of the Guru and, devotees, and always have this humility and always that humble nature, that ready to take service, ready to do the service at any point of time. Ananyas Chindayando Ma, Yadandescha Dridavata, Sadadam Kirtayando. All these kinds of attitude that we saw that some devotees does that is in the pure devotional platform without any hesitation and so many conditions and all these things. Yes, there are some conditions, there may be some things are there, but the devotees are there with this heart, this sincere endeavor, sincere devotion to the Lord and the spiritual master. And we can see that this is a pure devotee. Not his qualification, not his title, or not his wealth or his beauty. No, we should not. We should always see such devotees, and we should offer obeisance to such devotees, even from the far, and even when we comes near to, and always seek the association of such devotees. Always seek instructions from such devotees. Always ready to serve such devotees. Always listen to such devotees. Like that. So this way, we completely make the progress in the path of Krishna. And if that's safe, that is very protective. Who is protected is the protection of the Lord. So thank you for that reflection. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Even probably like I'm remembering the quote. If somebody wants to have some questions, maybe I can share it out later on. If somebody wants to say something, I can wait.
2 years, Mom. Do you know anything about phones?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Like Tamal Krishna Maharaj quote, I see he was mentioning that if slightly I slipped out the Prabhupada instructions, this Maharaj quote, may it will lead my devotional service, or may it lead me not the right path, may lead me somewhere else. So in place of I'm reaching the right place, maybe I can reach somewhere else. If I slightly, slipped out from the Prabhupada instructions.
Yep.
So that is called, the conscious of the surrendered soul.
Yep, exactly.
And Maharaj giving the example of the GPS, right? If we don't follow GPS instructions, in place of reaching the right source, we will reach somewhere else.
Exactly.
Guru position is like that GPS.
Like
just
that,
follow what he say, just left and right.
Yeah. Even we know that Kadamba Karna Maharaj completely strictly following even on the deathbed, even on the time of even passing, that following that orders of spiritual master, chanting the holy name. And even though Kadamba Karna Maharaj was not able to chant, but even when Maharaj sees spiritual master, and then they say, I'm chanting, I'm 11 rounds, 12 rounds, things like that. So giving that, I'm following, I'm chanting, and even that conscious of, and that's what it is. Even nothing that dasa anudas, just follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And as Krishna says that I am the devotees. That's the pure devotee, and I would always appreciate such devotees who want to take the the footsteps of the devotees of the devotees of the devotees of the devotee. That's a pure devotee. Not that, when I pose myself, I am a so and so devotee, rather than one who is there to serve the devotees of the devotees of the devotees of the Lord. That's a pure devotion. So that kind of humility we should always have, that not to judge and not to find fault and not to, tell this devotees and that devotees, not to make group of these devotees, not to there are so many obstacles are out there. So when a person behave in such a way that we can see that this is anartha, this is Maya is acting in that place rather than the Yoga Maya, the internal potency of the Lord, the external energy is coming into this place. So initially, the Maya can drag that devotee further away. Yeah, it's very, very, very wonderful that we should strictly follow the instructions of the devotees and the spiritual master, and the Shastra is one who is endeavoring to come to this pure devotional platform. And that's our stage of perfection. Yeah. Very wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing that. Anybody else would like to add anything? Any other comments? Any other concerns? Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. You're always lecture, you're always nectar Prabhu. Really Prabhu. So whatever you, whenever you give the lecture, wherever you give the class, and whatever, that is very nectarian Prabhu, really. So pure devotion also there. You have own pure devotion. That's why we can listen. We can got that essence actually.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No, we're all trying to come to that. Thank you. So you have any comments or any other questions? Or
no, Prabhu, as today is no questions there, but I listen your work, listen your examples and everything is very nectarian, Prabhu.
yeah, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, it's all mercy of the devotees and Srila Prabhupada that we are here and spending some time to remember the Lord and glorify the Supreme Lord. We should always pray to that. That's why we are chanting also. Please engage me in the service of the Lord. We should have that consciousness to engage in the service of the Lord. So this is the way that we can come to that stage of perfection. Okay.
So we're planning to start the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhuji, once this is complete?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to start the Nectar of Devotion, and we go very systematically. And there are 64 limbs of devotion, and we'll go and all of those and various aspects and how one can. The text of devotion is so wonderful. There are so many examples. And what is the sadhana bhakti? What is the the raganuga bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti? How one can come to the pure devotional platform? Then we are going to take that in a very systematic way and section by section, and so that then we will understand. So everybody can. It's free of cost. In many places they charge, but it's free of cost. Everybody can come, and we will go in detail of each of those, and strictly based on the Srila Rupa Goswami's text of devotion book, nothing else. And then we'll come to that, the nectar, real nectar of, that's called nectar of instruction. Once we understand the details and the inner understanding of this nectar of devotions, and then we'll come to that nectar of instruction, so that we can completely put ourselves in that mode of the pure devotion. Then we will, after that, we will take the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then this is our plan, if Krishna willing.
So, Mr. Prabhu, is possible you can add the Isha Upanishad also in your plan?
Yeah, Isha Upanishad, yes, as well as. It's beautiful one, Isha Upanishad, yes. Yeah, that's when we understand, this Isha Upanishad means it's completely about the Supreme Lord. Isha Upanishad starts with Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Etkinja Jagatyam Jagatena Tektena Bunjitva Mankrutaha Kachisidaram. Starting with this Isha Upanishad. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. It's a beautiful book, wonderful book. There's so many. Srila Prabhupada put so much wonderful nectarian purport on each of these verses. We can go through it. Yeah, very nice, very wonderful. So just instead of wasting our time for so many evening, some people watching movies, some people that, some people going here, some people going for what is called moonwalk, whatever it is. So many things, and hear about, the glories of the Lord. Be there with the devotees and engage in the space of the Lord. And, 7 o'clock is very beautiful, and people, those who are at the home, they can do their worship and Arati and told before 7 o'clock, and then they can come and listen. And it says that, it's all Sandhya means Sandhya. Wherever there is the holy name is heard or chanted, or in this time period of evening, Krishna will always resides in such houses, such homes. And those who are doing that, devotees, Krishna will always resides in such hearts. So this is the verdict of the Shastra. And that's devotees sees that. And it's very important that evening time not to wish for anything else, but to engage in the service of the Lord, because of this is a very auspicious time. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Prabhu. After this, what is that? Isha Upanishad. Can you start Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will ask.
And Prabhu, I'm telling you that you already mentioned that you gave the blessings that you asked me to that start
Yeah.
some.
I wanted to ask you on that.
Yes.
Where is it now?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So about yes, what happened, Prabhu? Sorry, go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry, I am.
No, when did you start, or on that same day, or no?
No. Yeah, actually, my Sikha Guru Krishna Ramananda Prabhu there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Krishna Ramananda Prabhu. I asked to the Krishna Ramananda Prabhu also. Krishna Ramananda Prabhu told that let's start on Saturday, Akshaya Tritiya.
Akshaya Tritiya, 22nd. Yeah. Okay.
That's why.
So actually, I should always say that yes, also the Madhuvati Prabhu is also there, right? What did you check with him also?
I'll check with him also, Prabhu. I did not check with him.
Yeah, check with him that his availability. I think it's very, very wonderful that to have such an association and the guidance from him also. So it's very good.
Yes, Prabhu. I'll do that. So
yeah, Akshaya Tritiya is very good. Yes.
Yes. and and Satyadarikadis Prabhu told that it is better to call all the new people, not the
Yeah.
existing.
Exactly. New devotee. That's the purpose of this all. But it's good to have some few existing devotees so that you are not alone, so that you will also get some devotee association. Also, new people will have some devotee association. That makes big differences.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Like 3-4 families, maybe, so they can help each other. Sometimes happen when you do it alone. Sometimes it's difficult for Madajis and prasadam and arrangements, and sometimes you need help. Sometimes you may be out of station or something, so other devotees can then carry on with this, right? So it will not be that so much burden for you that you do it alone. So it's always good devotees like Satyadarikadis Prabhu is there, right? I mean, there are a few other devotees like that, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. So Prabhu, forgive me that I did not able to start on particular Navavarso, but I will start.
Ashish Prabhu, you are starting Bhakti Raksha or what?
Not yes, like that. Prabhuji's blessings with me. That's why I'm starting.
Yeah, bro, always blessing. We are so happy, bro. Keep on, please.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's very nice to engaging ourselves for the Prabhupada service.
Yeah.
You engaged Prabhu. You already taught me how to.
No, bro, I'm learning. I'm the most fallen.
No. I'm also most fallen, Prabhu. Give the blessings. All the devotees' blessings will be very
Or we are
important.
trying to sit in Prabhupada boat.
Yes, Prabhu. So that's all, Prabhu. So let's see this.
Yeah, please go ahead. Let us know if we can serve you somehow.
Sure, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Yes, we recently started one on Hillsborough in last month.
Yes,
so
great.
Another Bhakti Risha.
Yes, some Prabhuji also coming in our temple also. They are serving.
Yes. A lot of it's a new people. Satyamama Madaji is there, and there are few existing our temple devotees are there. They are helping and they are so wonderfully serving to serve the new people. There are a lot of new people are coming for this, and it's so nice. Sort of. Yeah. So this is what it is. So engage in the service of the Lord. So that we'll all come to that pure devotional platform.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very good. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Dandavat. Thank you so much. And if there is nothing else, then let's conclude today's class, today's section. Thank you so much. So let's pray together. Vancha kalpatarubhasya Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnava ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaudi Vaishnava ki jai. Gaura Prabhupada.
Thank you, Simhesvara Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.